Well, off we go. We're so high up.
Hello there, Adam from GodIsAGeek.com here to talk about some Tales of Arise with a man who is not me because I haven't played it, but he has, and that's Christopher White. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate. Not too bad. Not too bad.
No, this is a weird one because whereas normally we come to you people with previews of like, oh, I played a couple of hours of this. That's true, I believe, in this case, but it's kind of you've played the same section multiple times. I don't like.
Yes.
You tell us, I guess, what you've played, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So I played very small piece of Tales of Arise, which didn't last too long, like as a demo, but you were free to kind of explore and replay, and that gave you an idea of the different characters on offer. So there's like 6 playable characters. I was free to go back in and play as each one. I'm not going to pretend to remember the names, but I will talk about their abilities and stuff like that. But just like general impressions, like the combat is very enjoyable, and if you're a fan of the Tales of series, it's more of an advancement of Berseria, where there's more of a free roaming element to it, and the kind of the way combat takes place is you're wandering around the wherever you are, and a fight kind of starts out in true JRPG kind of style, except it's not turn-based. You're free to just go and attack whoever you want, and the series has always had something called arts, which are like your moves specific to that character. So there's one character, one of the new characters called Dohalim, who uses this kind of weaponized rod, and the new area it is looking into improving is like evading and countering. So when you evade like perfectly at the right time, the combat slows down, and your particular ability, like so his weaponized rod kind of extends, and it will do more damage in a short period of time. Well, each character has one of them. There's a character with a shield, there's one with like a gun, giant sword, and they kind of fall down the same paths as like the damage dealers and the healers and that kind of thing. But when you control one person at any one time, and it's very easy to kind of include everybody else in the fight. So your D-pad, by pressing like up, down, left, or right, you can use something which is like a boost attack, and these boost attacks call in one of the other fighters, and they come and do damage to whoever you're attacking. When you do enough damage yourself with your various arts, then you can initiate something called a boost strike, and that is kind of like a small little cutscene where someone else comes in and you do this fancy move together, cooperatively. So there's very different combinations depending on who you fight, but like just in general, like the combat feels great. It's good for people that love the Tales of series, but if you're kind of new to it, then you're going to find something to love. It's very smooth how it happens, and the inputs are kind of nice and quick and varied, and just in general, like that element of it, the fighting is really enjoyable at the minute, and it'll be interesting to see how that kind of grows, whether you learn more arts as you go along and how they become more powerful. But yeah, so that element of it's great, and I didn't see a lot of different enemy types, but there was enough to kind of get an idea of what to expect. Like the demo,
it sounds like they're trying to, because you mentioned I wanted to sort of go back anyway, so this is as good a time to ask. Is you mentioned about like the focus or more of a advancement towards the sort of evading and countering.
Yes.
I'm curious about that because obviously I haven't played it, but what I've seen of what they've showed and looking at the footage that we've got, I don't want to almost over-egg the pudding, but it does seem... Is it, from playing it, I guess the question, is it more of a sort of third-person action game, or is this still a... Do you know what I mean? Because the idea of adding in a more focused evading and countering mechanic makes it sound more Bayonetta style than Tales of. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to ask without making you answer.
More,
No,
it's much more combat based and action based than anything else, and that kind of evading is just another thing to focus on when you're fighting. Like, it's not a hack and slash.
Right,
it doesn't feel like a hack and slash. It's more like the arts. Your main arts are mapped to your A, X, and Y button. This is on an Xbox PC build, whatever. So you use those, and you can jump by pressing B, and then in the air you've got 3 more different arts. So you kind of input them, and you don't press an art, it does the move. Press another button, it does that art. They kind of you can even almost put in a sequence and then watch it unfold.
So not
it's
quite
kind of
like
a little slowed down, maybe.
Okay.
It's not like hectic like Bandai's other game that's coming out soon, Scarlet Nexus.
Well, I was thinking more Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like,
yes, that's a good shout.
Are we adjacent to that?
I would say that's a good shout with how it feels at the minute.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, and like the bits in between combat, again, didn't see a lot of, but I know there's like you can cook at a campfire.
Okay,
which felt very much Final Fantasy. You find ingredients out there, and then certain people are better at cooking, which provides like buffs and stuff like that. And there's also like different crafting materials around that you can then take to a city and get someone to kind of build stuff for you. But again, haven't really seen any of that, so I can't comment.
No, but it sounds like they're shaking up because not for nothing, this is the 17th main Tales game. So I get that, again, not to compare again, like with Final Fantasy VII Remake, one of my favourite games of all time. The remake left me a bit nervous. Like, what are they going to do? It's definitely not going to be like the original's combat. And in the end, I was fine with it. When you're 17 games in, that's just the main entries. Like, you kind of have to... I mean, it's the first time I've watched a Tales of trailer and gone, oh, hang on a minute, maybe I'll be into this one, because I've tried the games in the past and they've kind of never clicked with me. But this one, I mean, we haven't even touched upon it, but visually, from again what I've seen, not as much as you, it looks pretty, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it really does. It's kind of almost got like an Octopath Traveler vibe to it, like little like cell shading almost. It's not photorealistic, but it's got a really kind of lovely art style to it, which helps. And then that kind of into combat itself, it makes it look wonderful. So all these kind of elements do come together to create a game that is very similar in ways to the remake of Final Fantasy VII, which players that have recently played that will probably quite easily be able to jump into this and not feel too, out of the depths.
Yeah.
But like when this comes out, I feel that if players are keeping up to date with the trailers and the kind of info about it, they're going to want to play it because it is really fun. As I say, like, it was a 30-minute demo at minimum, but I played it for a good 2-3 hours to kind of get the most out of all the characters and stuff. So yeah, I think fans are going to really enjoy this, whether you've played the series or not.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get 17 games deep without a series becoming somewhat popular, and there does seem to be a decent amount of hype. I believe it was delayed due to everything else, the same reasons everything else has been delayed. But this one is out on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S on September 10th. You can read Chris's sort of more formal preview on the website. This is just a chat, really, to show you some footage and sort of, shoot the breeze, really, when it comes to this game. And if you enjoyed this, make sure you do subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss another video just like this. You can follow us on all social medias at God is a Geek. It's pretty much that's it on everything. And if you really enjoyed this video, but I mean really enjoyed it, when Chris said about the rod earlier, for example, I regretted that we weren't doing the podcast because there was a title right there, Chris, wasn't there?
Did you not notice that I said weaponized before
Oh,
every
I
time
noticed.
I said rod.
I noticed weaponized rod 100%. And for the next 2 minutes, I thought about bringing it up during this bulk of this chat. And I thought, no, we should keep it professional because it's not the podcast. But yeah, weaponized rod would be a superb podcast title, which you can catch us live on YouTube doing that and archives on the Mondays. And on patreon.com/godisgeek, where you'll find all early access stuff, our Discord channel, we do code drops, all sorts there. Chris, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it, mate.
No worries, mate. Thank you for having me.
And I'm off to enjoy looking at this footage because it does look good. Thanks very much. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.